What happens when a man dares to declare God is dead? Not as an act of blasphemy, not as a sneer against faith, but as a thunderclap, a wake-up call to humanity, to rise, to create, to take full responsibility for its destiny. Friedrich Nietzsche wasn't simply a philosopher. He was a rebel, a visionary, a man who stared into the abyss of existence and asked if we were strong enough to dance there. Nietzsche lived in the late 19th century, a time when faith, tradition, and morality were rigid, and science had begun tearing cracks into old certainties. But Nietzsche didn't just poke holes in the walls of belief. He wanted to tear them down entirely, so something far greater could be built. To him, humanity had been living like a herd, obedient, timid, waiting for permission from priests, kings, and even the idea of a distant God. But what if God was no longer the source of meaning? What if we had to create meaning ourselves? When Nietzsche wrote God is dead, it wasn't a celebration. It was a warning. He saw a world where old values had lost their power, where morality was crumbling, yet nothing strong had risen to replace it. This void terrified him, because in that emptiness, humanity could fall into despair, or worse, follow false idols of power and ideology. So Nietzsche issued a challenge to every thinker, dreamer, and creator: do not collapse into nihilism. Instead, become the creator of your own values, forge your own meaning, rise as what he called the Übermensch, the higher human who lives with courage, vision, and purpose. But vision comes with a price. Nietzsche lived most of his life in solitude, writing furiously, his health crumbling under migraines, poor eyesight, and the weight of thoughts too heavy for most minds. He walked the streets of Europe like a ghost, penniless, misunderstood, mocked as a madman, and perhaps, by the end, madness did claim him, but his fire never went out, because he knew the future belongs to those who dare to think differently, to those who challenge even the gods themselves. One of Nietzsche's most mind-bending ideas was the concept of the eternal return. What if your life, every moment, every decision, every joy and pain, were to repeat again and again, for all eternity? Would you curse existence, or live so boldly that you would gladly embrace the cycle forever? That is Nietzsche's dare. Not to wait for heaven, not to fear hell, but to live so fully, so passionately, that you would choose to live it all over again. Friedrich Nietzsche, the rebel who challenged the gods, was not asking us to destroy faith. He was asking us to create something even greater, a life so meaningful, it no longer needs permission to be lived.